today or not. I know John probably will not be available. Let's get started though. All right, so we're live. Welcome to another town hall. It's a small group today, so this might be a shorter meeting than usual. We're just going to go ahead and get started and see how things go here. Let me go ahead and share my screen for you guys so that we all have notes visible. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's go ahead and get started here. Sarah, I'm gonna kind of hand over note taking to you if you don't mind. Just put names in here.
And just to make sure, you said 3 o'clock Eastern time, right?
I did. That's
okay. That I wanted to make sure it. I just wanted to make sure it translated correctly. Sometimes it does not.
Yeah. Okay, so action items. This one we were just dealing with, Jeremy and Rick to meet to review how we get the chapter audit finished up, and I failed to coordinate that this past week, so we just got it on our schedule for Tuesday. I'm going to leave that on the action items, so hopefully we can cross it off next time. Rick, begin sending chapter audit emails. That, of course, will come after that meeting. Sarah, progress update from Ian or Nush. Any updates from those guys?
No, I'm meeting with them after the town hall though. So
great.
Next week
So next week, and Adam isn't here yet, so on we go. No special guest presentations lined up. Hopefully we can get some in here, so it's not just us talking. Here's our metrics, thanks to Rick. Nothing really jumped out at me. I'll just make the usual note that our number of chapters is definitely in question at this point. I suspect it's somewhat lower than 200 at this point, but we don't know until we finish the process of the audit, which is probably going to take several months just to be realistic. Everything else on here was pretty typical activity levels, so on we go. I did not see anything really to call attention to in the hub this week. Is there anything that you saw that I might have missed, Sarah?
Yeah, I didn't either. It seems like mostly people saying hello and introducing themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll just leave the hub to speak for itself this week, and that leaves.
Well, we do have one.
What's that?
There's a thing that I forwarded to you a few days ago, and it's somebody that wants to close their chapter, but I didn't want to do it just based on an email, so I tagged you on it.
Is that a
ticket? I really don't know what it is in the ticket. Yes, and it's still open, but I don't feel comfortable just closing a chapter based on an email. I don't know how that's normally done. I've never closed one before.
Well, it depends. I mean, if this is Leslie Russell, is that like one of the founders of the chapter?
I looked him up and I did not see it. Maybe I just missed it, but I wanted to talk to you before I actually did it.
Well, so I mean, we don't have any official rules on this, but I would just say that whatever chapter they're asking to close, you've got your chapter spreadsheet, look up that chapter and see who is listed as the primary contact. Reach out to that person and say, hey, we received this request from so-and-so asking us to close. Just want to confirm since I have you listed as the lead. That's what I would do.
I will do that. I just wanted to check with you to find out I've never closed one. I've only opened them. So sure. I wanted to check with you because I wasn't really sure what the process was on a closure.
Now he says, remove us as a chapter and remove my email from group conversations. I don't know what conversations he might be talking about.
I didn't either.
You might need to let him know that, anything he's signed up for, like if he's getting notifications from the hub or e-NABLE Web Central, he's got to turn those off. We can't do that for him.
Okay. I will do that. Like I said, I just want to know what the process is before I jump into this thing. Is if there was some sort of
no, there's no real solid rules. I mean, we kind of figure it out as we go. But at this point, Rick, I mean, you're the guy that's in charge of chapters, so you really get to make these calls, whatever seems appropriate.
I just thought maybe there was a method. Because somebody could just as easily send us an email and have us close a chapter.
Well, that's why I say just check with whoever you have listed as the primary. But there's ways of telling. Like I didn't look into this too closely, but ILA210.org. What is that organization, and is that associated with what you have on file? So you can take what's on their email address here, the tail end of the email address. That should be their website. If you just put that in without the front part, and that'll tell us.
Now the other thing is, I think I can turn off a chapter by just changing.
Hold on, let me just finish, Rick. This is Independent Learning Academy. So if there's any mention of the chapter being tied to Independent Learning Academy, this guy is, part of that organization. So those are things you can do to just kind of validate. But ultimately, I would reach out to whoever is listed as primary on the spreadsheet because they're the ones that set it up. So whoever set it up can close it down,
I believe that in the worksheet, there is just changing the active from 1 to 0.
That I don't
think
know.
that turned-
I haven't
yeah.
been involved with the spreadsheet. So we'd have to ask Masv how that works. I don't know if it's
Okay.
something that we change manually or what. That would be my guess. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on. Recurring meetings listed here. We've got the new member meetup today. And let's see. I don't know that I'm going to be able to join today. I've got a pretty full schedule. Are you hosting that one, Rick?
I guess so.
It's a combined, again, new member
Oh, this
meetup
is
and
okay.
education.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
that worked out really well last.
So you'll
time.
both be there?
I will be there. Yeah.
Okay, and Sarah, you've got everything you need now for setting up the Zoom and live streaming and all that.
It should work. It worked last time, so I hope it
Awesome.
works again.
Awesome. Okay. So I think, let me take a look. Is that our last meeting for December?
Yep.
Yeah, 16th. So that's it. Then we kind of take a break for the holidays and we'll regroup in the new year with more meetings.
Yep.
So
All
Sarah,
right.
you're going to start and host the thing to get it all going. You've got that working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Excellent.
I will be there.
You've got my mobile number, Sarah, right? In case you
I
have any
do. I
issues.
do. So if something happens, I will
Just send me a text.
send you a text. Yeah.
Okay, so last time we met, Sarah, you wanted to have some discussion about media coordination role and responsibilities, which I put at the top of the agenda.
Yeah.
But now I'm wondering, since we don't have John here, I really would like him to be part of that discussion. How do you feel about that? Do you want to go ahead and talk a little about it, and then?
I mean, I've discussed it with John, so I'm happy to
Fair enough.
talk about it with you now and provide a recap if John or Adam want at a future
Well,
meeting.
they'll have the recording, so let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, is I'd have just a very short PowerPoint which I can
Wonderful.
send, but is it possible for me?
Yeah,
I
you can just share.
screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, the things that I'll continue to do that Ben did, hub management and just assistance with various initiatives. So right now we have the Ukraine initiative, and I'll be talking to Ian shortly about printing, and then I'm hoping to check in with Adam about how I can assist with Afghanistan logistics. And I'm also hoping to revive monthly newsletters, and maybe do a little bit of storytelling and then have some, some posts to social media and the hub. And then and one thing I know Ben had sort of created this wonderful and great, really robust meeting schedule. And that planning all of that and putting all of that together and following up on all of these meetings and then attending all of these meetings takes a lot of time. So for now, I'm hoping to have a less robust meeting schedule, fewer meetings. I've noticed that a lot of meetings, facilitators are, seem to have too much going on to be able to come up with speakers every month. And so that's a challenge. So the last couple of months we've had 3 meetings a month, and I think that's worked really well. But taking some of that away so that I can work on more long-term projects that can that are more in line with my skills and interests in journalism and public health. So, you know, I have some story ideas, and fully reported stories can take a really, really long time to do. So, I'm thinking shorter stories that can still be engaging, but feature some recipients. And then I'm really interested in longer term working on outreach to the disability community so that we can have more active participation from recipients, and you know, alongside makers, because I think that's nothing about us without us is key. And then some in public health, we call it monitoring and evaluation, but right now I'm going through all of the chapters listed on the e-NABLE map, and sort of getting all of their basic information and their social media pages. And I'm going to reach out to all of them to try to figure out what the goals are and how consistently they're being met across chapters, how active each chapter is. And a big problem and question that we've seen frequently now is, are devices making it to recipients, and what are the gaps between the capabilities of willing makers and delivery, and how do recipients know that e-NABLE exists, and how is e-NABLE reaching recipients? So I would like to help with that. And yeah, and then these are just some examples of things that I've done. I'm gonna, it's not opening, but I can, okay.
Sorry,
Can people
right
see?
click on the link, Sarah.
Yeah, I clicked on it. It's up on my screen. I think I have to change the screen
Oh
that I'm
yeah, you have
sharing.
to probably share the desktop instead of that window.
Yeah, so let me, so I did this came out of research that I did with an NGO in Cambodia. This is where I met Ben. But reports like this that can help show what people are doing and what's needed. And WaterAid used this to sort of inform projects and future research. But this was work that I did helping to figure out access barriers that disabled women were dealing with in getting clean water and basic health and menstrual hygiene management supplies, and coming up with solutions. So
Very nice.
things like this. And then you know, I just included like, let me pull this up. 1 second. Okay, links to some featured like print and audio stories that I did for NPR News, but like I can't pitch featured stories that might that would spotlight e-NABLE to news outlets while I am working for e-NABLE, but I can you know, do stories like this, and that can be for the website or for the newsletter. But I and if you have any other ideas for projects that you would like me to focus on, I'm open to that. But this is also, as I've talked to John, a limited hours part-time position, so I can't do projects like this and continue with the meeting schedule that Ben had in place. So I think if you have any ideas, I think that was it, but I'm happy to talk about monitoring and evaluation, or incorporating storytelling into what e-NABLE does, or any other project ideas that you have, or if you have any thoughts about the meetings and fewer meetings moving forward.
I think it probably makes sense considering where we're at. Yeah. And everything that you showed looked really good to me, Sarah, as far as focuses and priorities. It's definitely worth some more discussion when others are here, but particularly the outreach, which obviously is something that Adam is focused on as well. So I'd love to see you two kind of partnering up on that. I think that would be that would yield really good results. With his kind of expertise in kind of what he's doing on the process side of things, and his connections with the the healthcare, other healthcare professionals, with his background, and combining that with your journalism expertise and that sort of thing, that could really be powerful. So definitely the outreach, and I think tied in with that, the social media is something we definitely need to do more of, because that could be a powerful tool for getting to the people that don't know about us. And I'm not even sure that Facebook is where all the focus should be. That's where it has been in the past for e-NABLE, but I think Instagram should be used a lot more than we have been. Maybe even TikTok. I don't know.
I know nothing about TikTok.
Me too. So I just threw it out there as maybe for short videos, but definitely Instagram. That would be a great way to just, we need somebody. I always see, photos or little video clips that people are sharing. If somebody could, kind of be collecting those, reach out to whatever chapter shared them. Hey, is this one that we can share? Do we have your permission? That kind of thing. And we start to build this collection of media that we have permission to share, and use that to kind of drive people back to our site and build awareness and that kind of thing. All that is really important. I'd like to see that all. I don't think we've had anyone doing any of that. Even Ben, I think in the latter months before he switched into teaching, I think he got so busy that he wasn't really doing as much on social media either. So it's an area that we could do a lot better in.
Yeah, I know Adam had mentioned, social media is also, it's not my strength. That is an entire job that people, I'm a reporter, and every outlet has these days they have at least one person dedicated to managing social media. Sure. And that has never been me. So
understood. Maybe that's another intern. We have lots of.
Yeah, I know my way. I've never used TikTok. I know my way around Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and can certainly a lot of journalists use Twitter to find information and sources. I can certainly post to those sites. I know that Adam had mentioned that there was a student with one of the chapters who was really interested in pursuing a career in social media management, and had wanted
that's what I was thinking for an intern. That would be a great fit.
Help e-NABLE. So I can follow up with him about that too, and maybe work with her.
That would be great. Yeah.
But just,
I think that's the kind of person and then, that kind of person could be doing the work, but they could be kind of, I don't want to say directed by you, but if you're the one kind of setting the tone on the messaging, and, working on creating some of these stories and everything, there's a tie into that, right? They could, you could be sharing those things, and they could be promoting them on social media and that sort of thing. Yeah. And the newsletters, of course, can be promoted on social media and all that. So everything you had on your list looked good to me. I have no objections to trying to reduce the number of meetings. I will say that there was, the strategy behind that was that those meetings were hopefully going to be kind of where kind of work gets done. And the idea was that it was not intended for there to be one person like you that would have to be in all those meetings. Our hope was that we'd have kind of a leader that steps up for each one of those, and they'd handle coordinating and planning and they do all that. And it just never panned out that way.
But that since I've joined, that has not seemed like
it really never has. That was the idea, but it really never has come to fruition. We just didn't quite figure out how to do it. So while I hate to see us, moving away from some of those working groups, if they weren't active and meeting regularly and getting work done, then I don't think there's a lot of any problem with reducing the number of those. And you're combining some of them anyway, so there's still people still have somewhere they can go to get what they need. So I don't know, everything you said sounds fine to me. I mean, is with that kind of proposed, outline that you shared, how do you feel about where things stand with regards to the time that you have available, and does that then fit with kind of what you want to be doing and the amount of time you have available and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I also spoke with John about, it depends on how many meetings there are each month, but if I thought that it might be too complicated for each facilitator to have to handle the recording and live stream. But there is potential for, if I'm not needed in a meeting or helping with an initiative that's being discussed in a meeting, that I could hop on to set the live stream up and post it later, and then during that hour, instead of being in the meeting myself, be working on a project.
Sure.
That could be helpful.
Well, I think you've got the right approach. Let's cut it down to the essentials, the ones that are really being utilized and where people are showing up. And then if somebody else comes along and there's a group that's really getting active and they want to have another meeting and we want to spin another one up, fine, we'll revisit that later. But I think you're right for now.
Okay. And just a logistics question, is there a backup for, if I'm out sick and I can't, if I can't live stream and post the meeting?
Well, first of all, I'd say you can always consider me a backup. So just reach out to me if you're not available, and I'll do my best to cover. If I'm not available, honestly, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we just had to kind of cancel at the last minute, and skip that meeting. So don't lose sleep over it. Just reach out to me and we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Rick,
Well,
do you have
any comments, questions?
No, I'm good.
You like what she presented? Does that all look good to you?
Absolutely. I think it's awesome.
Right.
Great.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing that, Sarah, and we'll have some more discussion on that next time when John and Adam are here, but I think you're on the right track, so I'll just say stick with it.
Wonderful.
Honestly, guys, I'm gonna ask if we can kind of keep today's meeting short. I'm just going to kind of run through these and see if there's anything we need to talk about. Otherwise, we might keep today's meeting shorter. I have some things going on that are requiring my attention here. I don't think there's anything to discuss on the splints for Ukraine unless you have an update, Sarah.
No, it's tentatively scheduled to go out on Tuesday next week. So,
so that's going. I've got those printing, and hopefully we'll get other people involved. We do have the Lumio discussion going for the voting process. I just checked in on that this morning. So John and I wrote up this draft, which is basically a summary of what we discussed in this meeting, of what we propose as far as changes to the voting process. We outlined those proposed changes here, and then we opened it up for comments. We've gotten a few comments. Donna suggests that maybe only admins should be able to block a vote, or maybe you should have to have 5 votes to block instead of just a single block vote. She says she'd hate to see a proposal held up just to somebody misreading it or having a personal issue with it. And that's a fair point. I will just point out that in our history of using this platform and the dozens of proposals we've done so far, nobody has ever used the block vote, not even once. So I'm not too worried about, it being a problem for, like, or needing 3 or 4 or 5 people to block, because I don't see that ever happening. I think if one person ever felt strongly enough about a proposal having a problem to block it, I think the idea is with a block, the idea is we just want to make sure that there's a discussion before the voting closes. So the block just says this voting can't close until we talk about it. And so if even my thinking was that if even one person voted to block, then we put it on hold. We have a town hall discussion right here. That person that voted to block should join the meeting and be part of that discussion. And then either, a decision is made to cancel the proposal or a decision is made to move forward. So I'm certainly happy to discuss this idea of requiring more than one block vote, but to me, I think the idea of a single block vote triggering a discussion does serve the intended purpose. It's that block can be released after the discussion. It's just saying we have to talk before this vote gets decided. Eric Bubar agreed with Donna about potentially adjusting the blocking policy. He said there should be a higher threshold. I'll be interested to see what he thinks with my explanation there. I might have to write that up here. Alberto also agreed with them, also wanted to suggest to consider disallowing changes to the proposal during the voting period. So he's saying no changes at all once you start voting. What we were proposing was not allowing changes within the last, what was it? 48 hours. So we said there shouldn't be any changes within the last 48 hours before the deadline of the voting closing. He's suggesting maybe there shouldn't be any changes at all once the voting starts, because he thinks that making a change might kind of invalidate previous votes. I'm not sure he's aware that you can go back and change your vote. And that's why we said not within the last 48 hours. If something changes a few days before the end, and that changes how you feel, well, you can go and change your vote. So we'll have to talk about that duration. Leland then commented on this saying, I don't know more about more block votes, but maybe a discussion on how to unblock. So that's what I was talking about. So does the person who blocked have to unblock? So I was saying what my suggestion is as soon as anyone blocks a proposal, that triggers a discussion in the subsequent town hall. So this meeting, that person that voted to block would be expected to show up. If the person doesn't show up, the block would automatically be released. And if they do show up, a discussion is had and we decide collectively either to remove the block and continue, or we agree collectively to change or stop the proposal. So that was what was intended. Now he's saying maybe he's suggesting maybe 72 hours instead of 48 hours. He says if it's 48 hours, I will wait until then to read the proposal, which may not give it credit enough. Either way, I'll probably read and vote after it can no longer be changed. So he'd like to see a little bit of a longer period where it's locked at the end there. I'm not opposed to that idea either. So those are the comments we've gotten so far. Anybody else here? Rick, Sarah, any suggestions, thoughts, or comments on those? Well, I think I'm in no rush. I'm going to let the discussion keep running, especially since it's just the 3 of us today. Let's let it go another week. We'll revisit this again next week when we have some others here. And at that point, probably turn it into a voting proposal. Does that sound okay to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just take a quick look at tickets and desk. And I think we might call a meeting after that, if you don't mind. So Rick, thank you so much for staying on top of all these tickets. Looks like you're really on top of those. Do you need any help with this one, or is this all set? I want to 3D.
Sorry about that. No, actually, you helped me a lot with that one ticket that you were working with.
Oh, the zoo guys, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Because I really kind of needed that.
We're trying to help a turtle.
Yeah, I kind of needed help with a couple of those that you were involved in.
Yeah, always feel free to ask when I can help.
But no, I think we're caught up.
Well, this is great. Yeah, I mean, every time I jump in here to our ticketing system and I look under the e-NABLE department, I almost always see that it's pretty clear. So really, you really do a good job of staying on top of that, Rick. Thank you.
We do get a few on Facebook. You mentioned that earlier, but not a lot. And what I typically do on the Facebook ones is I direct them to the hub.
That's a
And
good
that's
idea.
really because I want other people to see.
No, I thought I had an autoresponder on the e-NABLE Facebook page. So when somebody messages there, it automatically replies saying, please reach out to us on the help desk because we don't see these messages. Is that
Oh, there
not?
might be. I have
Okay.
not seen it, but it doesn't mean it isn't there.
We might have to just check to make, it's been a long time. We might have to see if
Yeah.
that's still working.
But I do tend to direct them there because that way other people, you know, can chime in. And it's not that I'm trying to discourage the Facebook. I give them the information there as well, but I also direct them to the hub.
Okay. All right. Boy, internet's being slow today. All right, so let's see, e-NABLE, is that messenger tools? I might not be seeing it. No, I'm not going to see it from this view because I'm seeing the admin view, I guess.
Yeah, they tend to use the messenger quite more often than anything else. I don't see a lot of posts, you know, per se, as many as I do messages, but it's really not a large amount anyway. It's just onesie twosies.
Yeah, I'll bet you it's here. Use your turnkey, show creating, set up automated responses. Oh, maybe we don't have this set up.
I don't recall seeing any, but I don't know that how that exactly works.
Instant reply, greet people. What does this say? Oh, okay, here. Due to the large number of messages, this is an auto response. For info on how to get a 3D printer hand, make one, get involved, please visit. Okay, how much do you want to bet this is no longer good? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that takes them to the learn more and get involved page, and then links them over to the hub. I mean, this goes back to our whole problem about like, where do we send people and how, but at least it's sending them to a good page. I think I'll just change this to say, can I type here? I want to, let me type, there we go. Let's say, for any other questions or help getting started, please email us at support@enable.org.
There you go. That's probably it.
There we go. Hopefully people will then reach out on the help desk instead of trying to use the messenger. All right, guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to say let's wrap up. Keep this one short today because I have to get on to some other things, and we'll regroup next week and continue from there. So do you guys have anything before we do close up? Okay. Thanks to both of you for all of the work you're doing. It's greatly appreciated. And I'll see everyone next week. Bye-bye.